I want to bring in ABC's contributor Chris Connolly. Chris, you have been in the middle of this entertainment world for so many years. And we all know the impact that Ozzy Osbourne had, right, on pop culture. I remember the Osbournes from the early 2000s watching in 2002. And that was really my first introduction to Ozzy and his family. But break it down for us, just the scale of the impact Ozzy Osbourne had on music and on pop culture.
Yeah, I think you could say that Ozzy Osbourne breathed life, let's say, into not one but two still existing pop culture genres. The first in the 1970s with Black Sabbath was heavy metal music. Not a critical favorite, but a kind of music that audiences loved. And as the frontman, he had a lot to do with what that sounded like and what that genre became, and with the enormous success it had in concert and on FM radio and selling records at the time. So there was that. And then 40 years later, he really essentially created with his family the celebrity reality show. Ozzy walked so Chip and Joanna Gaines could run, and so the Kardashians do what the Kardashians do. And it was a massive success and made their family into something remarkable, but made the Prince of Darkness into a figure so lovable that everyone in America adored him.
Yeah, and you said it. He really paved the way for so many reality stars, reality families on television. And he was twice inducted, right, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, once as a part of Black Sabbath and once as a solo artist. So how did he change rock music specifically?
Well, kind of in the same way that we think of the genre of horror in terms of movies. Originally, it was sort of critically derided, was heavy metal. The critics didn't go for it. The 70s was an amazing period for music, but people began to understand that they were doing it at a really high level. And Ozzy sort of established the prominence of the frontman, the sound of the music, the kind of subject matter that heavy metal would cover. And on and off stage, he lived up to the Prince of Darkness mode. He not only defied expectations, he defied the bounds of civil society. By the time he was in the 1980s as a solo artist, he was urinating on the Alamo. He was biting heads off of birds in concert. He was the full-on hellion, and it really, audiences really went for that. And so to go from that to the adorable father of the Osbournes, what an incredible transformation. Only in America, you might say. And he was phenomenal all the way through.
Yeah, quite the turn. And Chris, Ozzy, he was able to take the stage for a final time a few weeks ago, which I think is really special. What was the significance of that farewell concert?
He had performed earlier in Birmingham, and every time he performed in his hometown, it was an incredibly emotional thing. And when he got off the stage in Birmingham a few years ago, Sharon, his wife, told him everybody was in tears. And Ozzy said, "I wasn't that bad, was I?" But anytime he performed for people in Birmingham, it meant a lot. And as you'll see in the conversation that I had when we were talking about his last record, Patient Number 9, he had more than 9 lives. Ozzy is patient number 9. You have the 9 lives of a cat, don't you?
Yeah, I mean...
He's got more than that, let me tell you.
I mean, I should have been dead a long time ago.
You know, he said once upon a time also, he said, when I retire, I'll be hearing the sound of soil coming over my lid. So he might have been the Prince of Darkness, but that final concert in his hometown, what a brilliant sunset.
Absolutely. And so wonderful that you had a chance to sit down with Ozzy and Sharon to speak with them. Thank you for bringing that to us, Chris. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.